Earlier this summer, I ran into a guy on the beach. He was in his early 50s and he was trying to get abs for the first time. He was trying to lose the dreaded dad bod, but I was horrified when I heard the diet that he was following. And so in today's video, I want to break down some of the key things that you can do to make this the last summer you have a dad bod and hopefully create the father figure that you want to have moving forward. What's up, guys? Josiah Novak here from thetruetransformation.com. I help guys 40 and older with a strong value system, super successful lifestyle, beautiful family, get the one thing that they're lacking. That is health and fitness, a body that they can be proud of and be proud to show off as they go through the rest of their life. The dad bod is a hot word, and I know when I became a father for the first time, I struggled to avoid the dad bod. In today's video, I'm breaking down 5 key things that I've done and I've helped my clients do over the years, starting with number 1 when it comes to avoiding and keeping the dad bod at bay for the rest of your life. The first thing is avoiding these 75-day or 90-day crazy, torturous challenges to lose body fat. Here's the deal. You're associating torture, being uncomfortable, hating life, having to move everything around in order to get in shape. This associates fitness with this negative mindset. Now, I know all the haters are about to come out in the comments and tell me things like 75 hard are a mental challenge, it's not a physical challenge. And you know what? You're 100% right. The problem is the market's telling you that you're not right. They're using these challenges to get in shape. And the reason I know this is I actually see these quote unquote fitness professionals do 75 hard all the time after allowing themselves to get out of shape for 9 months out of the year. They go, okay, it's summertime's coming up. It's time to do 75 hard. They go through torture. They go, oh, another 2-a-day workout, another day with no cheat meals, another day with no alcohol, and another day with a gallon of water, and I have to walk outside when it's snowing, and like all these things, right? And look, I'm all for doing crazy hard challenges. Go look at the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel here. I do hard stuff all the time. Why? Because I enjoy it. I actually like doing high rocks. I like doing Spartan races. I don't associate it with torture and hatred of life. So if you're associating fitness and being in shape with something that sucks, it's no wonder you can't sustain it. Your emotional brain is always going to win. It's always going to bring you back to what you like. That's why we have to change our identity. You have to learn how to build a fitness system that you actually enjoy. Like, I enjoy cooking up a steak, making fries, and having steak and potatoes for dinner. Like, that's enjoyable for me. I like going on a walk at night with my wife and our dogs and our kids outside when it's a little cooler at night, getting my 4,000 extra steps at the end of the day. I like that. I like going for runs early in the morning before it gets too hot to stay in cardiovascular shape. See, I like these things. I like the foods I eat. I don't hate my routine. I don't have to move hell and high water to get fitness done. So here's the thing, if you're trying to avoid the dad bod, stop doing the crazy stuff that you hate. Start building a routine that you like. That's step number 1. The second thing that I think is really important to understand is that you don't need to fall into the trap of things have to be sustainable all the time. I think trying to chase sustainability all the time is also a mistake. And you might be like, didn't you just tell me sustainability is the name of the game? And hear me out, okay? You just have to have the right mindset when you do the harder, less sustainable stuff. I think the big moving factor here is nutrition. You know, it's the one variable that we can really scale up or scale down in terms of intensity relatively easily, meaning you can eat less food or you can eat more food. Like, that's the simplicity of changing the intensity level. And I think a lot of guys make the mistake of thinking I have to be in a small calorie deficit because that's sustainable, right? God forbid I get a little hungry. God forbid I have to say no to a little extra food. Well, sometimes for a period of time, it actually makes sense to be a little more aggressive. Why? Because we do want to see the needle move a little faster sometimes. We do want to get that ball rolling faster and get momentum moving faster. So the guys I work with who ultimately get a six-pack and get lean while maintaining a really healthy and enjoyable lifestyle, you know, we rotate aggressive fat loss periods with slightly less aggressive fat loss periods, right? Like moderately aggressive. Why? Because I don't want these guys being in a deficit for the rest of their life. You know, I don't want them to take 5 years to get as lean as they want. I also don't want to do it in 5 minutes. You know, I don't want to set them up for failure, but it's like, hey, if I can get someone lean in a healthy, moderately aggressive way that takes them 6 months versus being like, okay, we're gonna do things over 2 years, they're gonna probably give up, right? Because in their mind, which we're talking about the emotional brain again here, Their mind is saying, dude, like you don't have all the time in the world. You know, you got other things you got to do. Could we get this over with so we can live the rest of our life lean, muscular, and fit? So I'm trying to play into that a bit, give them some encouragement mentally so that they get the physical results they want and they actually stick it out, right? So don't be afraid to be a little bit more aggressive in certain stages of the game. I would say early on is a good stage to be aggressive. You know, you're coming out of the gate, you're excited, you're motivated, you're like, this is the time, I'm all in. Be a little bit more aggressive in that phase, which, by the way, if you're super serious about transforming your physique and making a permanent change, I have some information below that you probably want to check out while you watch this video. Go check that out. And I can promise you, if you're dead serious, we'll get you on the right path. The third thing is cardio. Stop doing tons of running. Tons of running is not the secret to losing body fat. Okay, if you love running, if you're just a runner by trade or you've done running in the past and it's just the exercise you enjoy, cool. Just know that running is probably not my number one fat loss cardio. It's definitely up there for performance, improving your cardiovascular game, building your engine, being able to go do things like Spartans and high rocks and all that fun stuff. But I've noticed that running can lead to a couple negative side effects too that could be powerful in a bad way when it comes to losing fat. Number one, your appetite. Sometimes for a lot of guys, it's harder to control your appetite when you run a lot. This is for a number of reasons, but basically it's just tapping into different fuel sources in the body, causing your body to respond with a little bit more hunger. And when you're in a calorie deficit, if you're hungry all the time, it's a recipe for disaster. So you might just need to experiment and say, you know, I love running, but yeah, I do notice that I'm a lot hungrier when I run. So maybe there's a little bit of a balance I can create here where I run, but I increase my calories on the days that I run to offset some of that higher appetite that I'm experiencing. The other thing too is injuries. You know, sometimes go out, start running a lot, your body starts to break down. It's not ready for the volume on the road. It's not ready for the running and the stress that you're putting on the body. So you get injuries, and injuries can lead to a down slope in terms of mental strength. You know, you're like, man, I'm getting beat up. This isn't for me. You start talking yourself out of transforming. You know, you're like, yep, I'm too old. Can't do this. It's too late in the game. I'm never going to get a six pack. I'm going to have a dad bod for the rest of my life. This sucks. So just be mindful that running could be great, but probably not the best when it comes to fat loss. My recommended cardio, walking. Walking is for everybody. I think everyone should walk a lot. I think you should have a step goal that you go out and you chase every single day and you nail consistently because it's much easier, it's more efficient, and it's really sustainable. Now, when it comes to nutrition, the meal plan setup that I've found to be the best when it comes to my personal attempt at staying lean, muscular, and in shape year-round, it's the same one I help guys, you know, build into their lives most of the time. It's a really good strategy, and it's the 2x2. It's 2 big meals a day, 2 smaller meals a day. This works really well for the busy guy who also wants to have moments where he sits down and has a bigger, more enjoyable meal, either with colleagues or with a spouse or with family members or friends. But throughout the day, wants to stay sharp and doesn't want to feel bogged down by digesting food, right? So the way I set this up is it's typically, if you're a breakfast eater, it'd be like a light breakfast, relatively moderately heavier lunch, then a light afternoon snack and a bigger dinner, right? If you're not a big breakfast eater, we might skip breakfast entirely, do a light lunch, light afternoon snack, and then a big meal at night, followed by a relatively moderately sized dessert of some kind, right? So where you're back ending your calories so that you're working with your appetite if you have a higher appetite at night. Or it might be something like big lunch, big dinner, 2 small snacks, right? But this 2x2 method seems to work really well for the guys that I coach. And obviously the calorie amounts are going to be different person to person. Protein requirements might be different. Food choices might be different. Where you eat might be different. That's all details that we iron out in our program, which, by the way, if you're super serious about transforming, you want to learn more, you want to start now, go check out the links below the video. But this 2x2 method works really well for me because I don't eat breakfast most days. So I have a pretty big lunch, mostly just high protein, high fiber to keep my energy levels stable. I'll have a small snack around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Big dinner around 6, small to moderate sized dessert around 9 o'clock at night. That's like my almost guaranteed get ripped strategy, get the dad bod off strategy that I've been able to follow for a long time. Last but not least is the mentality around training. You know, dad bods aren't just body fat related, right? They're also lack of muscle. It's like the skinny fat look where you don't have a lot of definition. So a lot of guys are just wondering, like, how do I build muscle? Like, what am I supposed to do? What's my training supposed to look like? And my focus for most guys I coach is this: don't stop getting stronger. Now, this doesn't mean you go get injured. You don't have to do the crazy powerlifting, the deadlifts, the squats, the hang cleans. Like, all that stuff could be completely thrown out. You could just use machines. You could use hammer strength, some of the fancier stuff that's out now that's super smooth, but get stronger. Work on that 4 to 10 rep range. That's where I see most guys build the most muscle. Sure, you can build muscle 12 to 15 reps. You can build muscle doing 2 to 3 reps. But I like that 4 to 12 rep range because that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. That's where you're going to see the results really, really, really start to happen, right? And so is it, important for you to always train in 1 rep range? No, I would say it's okay to mix it up from time to time, but the mentality is the key. Don't think you're burning more fat because you're training light, right? And you're doing high reps, no rest between sets. Don't go in the gym with this mentality of like, the more I sweat, the more fat I lose. Save the crazy sweat for like the walks that you do outside, or the higher intensity cardio that we start to sprinkle in as time goes on. But keep the mentality of, I want to build muscle, right, as I lose fat. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't shortchange your physique, because the physique is going to come together. The superior body isn't just a lean body. It's also a body that carries a moderate to above average amount of muscle too. And just because you're a guy in his 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you're like, yeah, my time is done, I'm never going to build muscle, it's not true. I see guys all the time pack on serious muscle while dropping body fat with this mentality shift that I'm going to get stronger, I'm going to progress on my lifts over time, I'm not going to give up and say, I'm just going to train light and safe and all that stuff. Be safe, be smart, but that doesn't mean you have to train light. Get stronger over time. In terms of the best split for fat loss and losing the dad bod, the ones that I like the most are push-pull legs, or 2 to 3 full body workouts with maybe, an upper body, lower body workout at some point in the week. But it's all about the time that you have, right? If you have the ability to train 4 days a week, I'd probably do push-pull legs full body. If you only can train 3 days a week, I'd probably do 3 full body sessions just to make sure you get all the volume needed to transform your body. But hey, speaking of transforming your body, I'm passionate about making you disciplined on all fronts. If you're a guy who's successful, has a family, you're faith-based, you have strong values, strong moral code, but the one thing you're lacking is your physique. Like, you look in the mirror and you just can't stand what you see. And you want to make a change, most importantly for you, for your confidence, for your desires that you have that maybe you've buried deep inside and you've just dug a hole thinking, I have to do so many other things for people, for business, for work, for whatever the case may be, and you've let yourself go. Your fitness has gone by the wayside. But there's this voice that's still telling you, hey, I gotta do something different. Well, I can promise you this. A lot of the guys I work with will tell you everything you want is on the other side of getting healthy and fit. And it doesn't have to be torture. It can actually be really enjoyable and downright sustainable. You just need the right system. So we're passionate about helping you make that system and holding you accountable to that system. So your next step, go check out the information below this video, because life moves fast. Make it count. Talk to you on the next one. Peace.